Rise, change, endure. Lessons from Phoenix Fire, Buddhist Anicca, and Marcus Aurelius. Chapter 1, From Ashes to Flame, the Egyptian Phoenix. Long before the first smartphones lit up a screen, the ancient Egyptians watched the sun rise over the Nile and saw its reflection on the golden feather of Bennu, the mythic phoenix that would one day ignite its own rebirth. According to legend, the bird would live for 1,000 years, nesting among the reeds. When its life was done, it would burst into flame, consuming itself in a blaze of glory. From the ashes, a new, radiant bird would rise, unbound by the constraints of its former self. The story of the phoenix speaks not just of mortality, but of renewal. Every fall, every collapse, contains a spark deep within that can ignite a new beginning, if only we dare to let the flame burn. In the modern marketplace, the phoenix reminds us that our business failures can be the crucible that forges our most resilient selves. A failed venture, a product that didn't resonate, or a partnership that fell apart. All are opportunities to step back, reassess, and rise again, burning old patterns into new possibilities. Practical insight: success isn't a straight line, it's a series of rising cycles. Embrace failure as data, not disaster. When a project fails, pause, examine the cause, and set a new course. How to apply today: imagine that your last product launch didn't meet sales targets. Instead of berating yourself, write a brief reflection. What did I learn? Who did my product serve? Which pain point was misread? Then sketch a new prototype that integrates this insight. Launch a small pilot, test, and let the cycle begin. Reflective question: what ashes, old ideas, habits, or projects await your rebirth in this moment? Chapter 2, The Sand Mandala, Impermanence in Practice. On the dusty plains of the Himalayas, a monk named Lama Dawa took a bundle of sand, a chisel, a bowl, and a quiet mind. He spent days and nights arranging grains of white, gold, and red into an intricate mandala, an emblem of the universe. When the masterpiece was complete, he would tear it apart, scattering the sand onto the earth, letting it dissolve into nothingness. He taught his disciples that the mandala was a reminder: everything is fleeting. This fleeting nature is the core of Anicca, the Buddhist teaching of impermanence. The sand mandala says that we can build something stunning, only to have it collapse in a heartbeat. Yet, rather than despair, the monk embraced the destruction as part of the creation process. The sand's transformation from solid to dust mirrored the human soul's passage from form to emptiness, from illusion to truth. Practical insight: letting go is as powerful as holding on. In business, clinging to a product, a client, or a market can trap you in stagnation. Releasing what no longer serves you creates space for fresh ideas. How to apply today: set aside a release list each week. Write down projects, clients, or habits that no longer align with your vision. Commit to shutting them down, canceling a contract, archiving an old product line, or ending a habit that drains energy. Celebrate the act of release. Consider it an act of creative birth. Reflective question: which attachments in your personal or professional life feel more like sand mandalas, beautiful yet destined for dissolution? Chapter 3, Stoic Fires, Resilience of Marcus Aurelius. The great emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary, "When you are offended by something, the first thing you should do is understand the reason for it." In this Stoic worldview, every obstacle, be it a bad client, a slow economy, or a natural disaster, is simply a part of the world's indifferent order. An obstacle is a mirror reflecting our own mindset, offering a chance to respond with calm and purpose. Marcus practiced a discipline. He would pause at dawn, reflect on the day's likely hardships, rehearse his responses in mind, then face the day unshaken. He recognized that while he could not control weather or market swings, he could control his reactions. If a team member missed a deadline, instead of reacting angrily, he would ask, "Is this an opportunity to improve processes?" Practical insight: in today's fast-paced reality, Stoic resilience means treating setbacks as data. It is not about suppressing emotions, but directing them toward constructive action. How to apply today: pick one upcoming challenge, a difficult meeting, a looming deadline, a market shift. Before the event, write a brief note capturing your potential emotional responses and 3 ways you can turn the challenge into growth. If the client cancels, I'll ask for feedback to refine my proposal. This mental rehearsal steels you for any outcome. Reflective question: when confronted with a setback today, which stoic reframing can you apply to turn the fire into fuel? Chapter 4: Modern Fires, Turning Heat into Opportunity. Consider a software startup that built a platform to manage in-person events. Suddenly, a global pandemic forces events indoors or online. Panic spreads, investors pull back, the founding team feels the heat of crisis. Yet, by channeling the spirit of the phoenix, the sand mandala, and the stoic resolve of Marcus, they pivoted. They listened to the impermanence of the old model, realizing in-person gatherings evaporated like the sand. They let go of the initial product, releasing it into the digital space. They rose again, this time crafting a hybrid platform that could host virtual conferences, workshops, and networking events. They reframed the pandemic not as a catastrophe, but as an opening where new markets emerged. The team's resilience made them a beacon for other companies. Practical insight. The ancient three can be unified into a modern strategy. Acknowledge the heat crisis, let go of what no longer serves, old model, and rise innovate while maintaining calm control, stoic. How to apply today? Assess a current industry disruption you face. Write down 1. The event's effect on your business. 2. The aspects of your model that are unsustainable. 3. An alternative use case that could satisfy the new demand. And 4. The emotional stance you will adopt, calm, curious, determined. Execute a minimal viable pivot within 30 days. Reflective question. What modern heat is threatening your current plans, and how can you use ancient wisdom to spark a powerful transformation? Chapter 5: Rise Together, Manifesting the Legend. In the midst of a global crisis, a community of entrepreneurs gathered online to share their stories. They built digital sand mandalas, drawing patterns in shared whiteboards, representing their collective ambition. One founder described how her fire-lit business burned down after a client's bankruptcy, yet she felt the phoenix's call. She shared her reborn venture, a platform aiding freelancers to secure fair contracts. The group celebrated each new rise. They supported each other's releases, learned from each failure, and practiced stoic calmness. Over weeks, the community's cohesion grew, turning isolation into solidarity. Their shared flame grew brighter with every new partnership, every lesson learned, every rise from ashes. Practical insight: true empowerment doesn't happen in isolation. Building a supportive network amplifies resilience, allowing ideas to flare into action together. How to apply today? Join or start a mastermind group with peers who share your values. Commit to weekly virtual fires, where each member shares a triumph or setback. Collectively discuss how the phoenix, sand mandala, or stoic mindset can help move forward. Offer and receive feedback, celebrate releases, and keep the flame alive. Reflective question: who can you invite into your own fire? Someone whose shared flame will help you rise, release, and endure.